Now, your Alaska Link weather for Juneau and Southeast.
March has been underway with those active conditions, noting that our accumulation underneath what has been some showery weather to some rainy periods is just shy of 1.5 inches, putting us right typical for this early March so far forecast. Now, we have been pairing it up with the mild temperatures, noting that the average temperature just sit about 6 degrees above normal as we've been mild enough to stay mostly rain showers. He hasn't seen much snow, and again, March is really the last big month that we have for snowfall, so that will be a number that we monitor. But we are moving into quiet conditions here as we take hold of the rest of this week and even weekend forecast, where we're going to be colder than we've been, not looking at frigid by any means, but cooler as in we're going to stay into those 30s and stray a bit farther from reaching those 40s every day. Now we'll hold on to that mostly throughout the weekend. What we will watch is there's some weak waves that are going to lift in some chances for some widely scattered snow showers that may even have the chance of approaching the Juneau area, but looking at definitely monitoring some higher impacts for our southern panhandle. But we will be back to those warm and wet conditions again, looking at returning for next week. But for the time being, larger pockets of seeing some sunshine and noting that we will again have some of that cooler feel will be in place. High tide for Thursday, 1:48 in the morning and 1:44 into the afternoon. We know that the day is going to include some bright sky conditions, starting off just around those lower 20s, and then watching a high temperature here even for our Thursday just creep into those lower 30s. We will be a little breezy, noting that Sitka, Haines, and Yakutat noting some wind gusts upwards of 25 or 30 miles per hour. As we will note, though, that most of that precipitation is off our coastline. There still is some of those weak disturbances, though, in the atmosphere there in the Gulf waters, which tries to show some of these little waves. We even see the far southern panhandle noting some of those little waves. We see larger, though, pockets of that sunshine, but can't rule out that there could be some blocks of time where we are cloudier, or even talk about some lifting into more of some of those snow chances for the southern panhandle, especially into that weekend forecast. So something we're still monitoring, but up through about Friday, looking generally quiet, more just some passing cloud cover and times to see the sunshine. Sits at 11 hours and 39 minutes. 7:17 is our sunrise and nearly 7 p.m. is our sunset. And we can see that sunshine is prominent for the entire panhandle there. Highest 39 even into Sitka, to 32 into Juneau. Our Friday continues to show that we'll have sunshine there for that northern panhandle, but Friday notes that there's some of those weak waves being detected. So mentioning at least some of that slight chance for some precipitation, but also noting that we're still from the 30s to those low 40s for high temperatures. We'll continue to see that we're generally with the quiet weather against some of those weak waves. We'll monitor to lift across the panhandle, but overall moving back to more of those wet pattern conditions. We are going to note starts to take hold as early as Tuesday is where we also pull our highs back to the 40s.